Hey fans, it's me Aaron. I'm back with another week of comics. Got some great stuff from Image and some Convergence to talk about, some really good nostalgic stuff for me. A few Marvel things. And if you haven't seen our MSNBC spot, they did an episode mainly focusing on us, the comic shop, and our Geek Easy Speakeasy for MSNBC's Your Business. And seriously, I was kind of subdued and eloquent. I didn't make one dick joke. It was pretty cool. I know they edited out some of my bad jokes, but if you get a chance, watch it. It's 5 minutes long, and it really talks about my philosophy on comic book retailing and the comic book industry, and also the secret origin of the Geek Easy, which is actually pretty funny. So moving on, this week is crazy. Kaptara, Chip Zdarsky's book. I've been wanting this book for so long, ever since I first heard about it, because you know him from Sex Criminals. You know him as the writer of Howard the Duck. You know him as the guy who's friends with Applebee's on Facebook. He is just, his sense of humor, I truly value. And I love the subheading on this, Kaptara, space, why you gotta be like that? Which reminds me a lot of, you remember Tracy Morgan, damn nature, you scary. It's just that kind of humor. And the main character, Keith, he's kind of lost, not lost in space, but kind of doesn't know his place in the world. All these other people have all these specialties, and he gets on this ship because he can do some stuff. They're going to Mars, and he's kind of can do some biology stuff on Mars, but he has a big chip on his shoulder because he's been bullied all his life. He happens to be gay, and when they crash on this planet, he just tells them that, hey, I'm Keith, the prince of the dance floor. And that's it. Now he's a prince. And they're like, oh, we'll help you get home. He's like, home? Why the hell do I want to go home? This is awesome. So if any of this sounds good to you, get it. Seriously, it is that type of fun humor that you know and love from Zdarsky. And this Kagan guy on art it's beautiful. It's awesome. Deadly Class, got another Rick Remender Deadly Class. It's really dark and a lot of super emotional stuff that really resonates with me of why I'm so self-destructive, and it's cool. I'm digging it. MPH, miles per hour. It's Mark Millar and Duncan, who did a lot of stuff for Vertigo that I love, like Enigma. He did a lot of Jay and Silent Bob stuff, USQ stuff, and this is basically these kids in Detroit. They get this drug called MPH, and they have super speed. What do? It's awesome. They can their life is kind of slowed down, going nowhere, and now they can go everywhere and do everything. And again, I truly relate to it because, I do Adderall sometimes, and man, if they could only do one that gave me super speed, instead of just talking really fast and getting jittery on that and not having to go to sleep and, marathoning through Daredevil, if I could really just run fast and do awesome stuff and maybe even help people, maybe, that would be cool. Lady Mechanika #1. This is a new miniseries. It's the Tablet of Destinies, some ancient Sumerian myth or something, supposedly. I didn't research that. I just took for granted what it said. And the thing is, Joe Benitez, I'm so glad he got his life back on track. I'm just saying because this has come out so regularly after several years of nothing. It started coming out from Aspen, and it was beautifully done. And basically, it's not a slight to his writing, but if you're super slow at getting it out and your art is your strong suit, hire someone else to write it and just bust out the art that everyone wants to see from you. Tell the writer what you want to draw, of course, but he did, and it's awesome. And props to him. I'm very glad he's doing it. It's very steampunky, but very stylized, hyper detailed, steampunk birds. It's cool. And the other indie book, Disney's Uncle Scrooge, which, being a huge DuckTales, woo fan from the 90s, I love DuckTales. This is for me. I love Uncle Scrooge, and they're doing these cool variant covers, they're subscription covers, legacy covers that I can order as much as I want as a retailer. And this one is Adventureland. Each one's a different theme of a Disney world or park, like Epcot or Fantasyland. And apparently, with Scrooge, all water is money. So, Splash Mountain is money. There's a scene with him taking a shower, and it's just freaking coins pouring on him. It's okay, whatever, cool. But I've always liked Uncle Scrooge stuff. I've just always had that kind of Disney thing, specifically for Uncle Scrooge. And yeah, he's he's a greedy bastard, but I don't want to say his heart's in the right place, but he seems to be on the side of, he's an asshole. But the Beagle Boys are worse, and he's taking care of his nephews, so, that's in his corner. So give Uncle Scrooge a shot if you want. I'm glad IDW's doing it, and Donald Duck's coming soon. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, look at this cool 8-bit cover. It might be 16-bit or 32-bit, I don't know. I don't know how many bit, but it's definitely that type of 8-bit thing. And this was awesome. It's her and Galactus. Is it her versus Galactus? Is it her as a herald of Galactus? I'm not gonna tell you, that would be a spoiler. But what is pretty cool is it starts with the end, like the end on the first page, and then even like the letter pages, like it is the end. And then it's like, oh, no, it's not the end. And is it going backwards to the beginning? Not really. It is a lot of fun, and it does make sense in its own like twisted, random way. And yeah, she would have made a great herald for Galactus. Moving on, Utopians. You guys remember Utopia, the island, and all that stuff from basically like Brubaker and Fraction's run on their X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, all that stuff. Well, X-Men are back from space. One of them now says, hey guys, I guess I'm gay, which is weird. I mean, this has been spoiled everywhere that I'm not saying who's gay, but I'm saying Miss Marvel, or not Miss Marvel, Marvel Girl with her psychic stuff, you can't out someone like that. That's rude. That's rude to, just because you can read people's thoughts and whatever. But I think they handled it well. I'm sure there's people that's gonna scream retcon this, retcon that, but I think it was handled well. I like the character that continued with the cosmic enhancements from this, and I like the Utopians. These characters, X-characters that we haven't seen in a while that are now together on that island doing who knows what. Maybe they still have a grudge against S.H.I.E.L.D., maybe they still have a grudge against that stuff from A vs. X, from whatnot, and that was pretty cool. Black Vortex, the whole Guardians and X-Men crossover, this is the finale. You get to see who keeps their enhancements. There's some major plot twist that leads right into Guardians. Guardians was a lot of fun. It's fun seeing Peter as running things, and there's good stuff. There's really good stuff where all the other characters play off each other really well, and I really enjoyed it. I just don't want to spoil like that his Secretary of Defense is obviously Drax, and of course Drax like, I'm not a secretary, and like because things go over his head, but whatever, he catches it and it's fine. Great issue. Bendis is just killing on Guardians. And finally, for Marvel, Superior Iron Man, Infamous. It's out, and it's basically Tony being the biggest dick ever. And that's cool because of Axis. This book, he didn't go back to normal. He's still inverted in the worst way, and he's drinking heavily, and it's fun. And he's in San Francisco and takes on Daredevil, and it's a really good book. Sold out multiple times in issues, and now it's out in collection. So if you've heard about it and kind of wanted to get it, go ahead. All you need to know from Axis is Tony Stark got a little inverted, and all the weakest and worst aspects about him are exaggerated, and all the endearing things about him are no longer there, and it's fun. So moving on to DC Convergence. Convergence is such a mixed bag. Bleeding Cool did a whole story on how the main book, The Spine, Convergence, was billed as like, all right, we're gonna see all these characters we have nostalgia from together, either fighting each other or fighting to survive or fighting Telos, and it turns out to be mainly all the New 52 Earth 2 characters as the protagonists for this book. Having said that, this issue was really good with the Batman of Earth 2. With issue 2, you saw him and Bruce, his son, as Batman interacting, and this, it has some real closure, some real great scenes, and the other stuff's guitarists, and it's like, come on, give me what I want to see, Convergence. Give me some really cool stuff. I want to see Wally West kicking ass. I want to see a composite team of characters from all these other domes fighting Telos. I don't want to see it now. I don't want to wait till issue 5, but we'll see it. Here is the issues. This Convergence Green Lantern Corps, I loved this book. It was all Guy Gardner and all stuff that I've been saying about Guy Gardner for freaking ever. Not only is he the best, last, most true Green Lantern, the one true Green Lantern, This takes place right before Crisis. They were pulled out and put in a dome when Guy Gardner was so badly wronged by Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan, who had everything handed to him, had the ring, had all this, and Guy ends up in a coma because he was trying to help people. Hal's battery blew up in his face, and he gets in the Phantom Zone, tortured by Zod and Sinestro. He gets hit by a bus, saving some kids, goes in a coma. And what does Hal do? Hal starts hooking up with Guy Gardner's fiance while Guy Gardner was in a coma. And when he comes out of the coma, he's a little brain damaged. So if you want to say he's an asshole, you're really just picking on the disabled. So that's all in here. All this great old continuity, really weird continuity if I'm being honest, but great old continuity is here. There's good Jon Stewart stuff. It was a fun issue. I freaking loved it. If you're an old school Green Lantern fan, you are going to love this. And it's full of Easter eggs too for old school Green Lantern fans in general. Full of it. Seriously. Swamp Thing, this is Len Wein, co-creator of Swamp Thing. This is the first time he's written Swamp Thing since his initial run before Alan Moore took over. So just saying that, it is something. I love Swamp Thing, and it was a very fun issue. It was, if you are a Swamp Thing fan, you need to get this issue. That's just all there is to it. I don't care what you think about Convergence, the main book. I don't care what you think about the New 52. I don't care what you think about anything about DC. If you are a Swamp Thing fan, this is Len Wein doing Swamp Thing for the first time since then, and it was awesome. The new Teen Titans. You got Wolfman writing it, and this is that team that is the most iconic Titans team. Not the first, but you know, those were just sidekicks, whatever. This is the most iconic team with a disco collar, Nightwing. It's exactly what you want. It's that family dynamic. It's all that emotional stuff. It's the stuff that I've been missing forever. Awesome. Wonder Woman was cool because she's fighting Vampire Batman. Neat. Moving on, Justice League. This is the Justice League Detroit that no one's favorite Justice League. Let's just put it at that. No one's favorite Justice League, really. I've never heard anyone say that's their favorite Justice League. But it was cool to see Ralph and Sue together. And I like the dynamic of them fighting the Tangent Universe? I forget. I read all these so fast. Excuse me. Yeah, they're fighting the Tangent Universe characters, those alternate characters. So awesome. Flash, you have Barry depowered for the entire issue because they don't have their powers under the dome, and then he goes against Tangent as well. Hawkman, if you like Hawkman by Tim Truman. Hawkworld, that's Truman on art here. Jeff Parker is a very capable writer, and it was a fun issue for people that love Hawkman. I know he doesn't have many fans, but any of his old fans, this is nostalgia. You want this. Batman the Outsiders, again, pure nostalgia. Lots of fun. It's that classic team. And right before Crisis, and they're taking on the Earth AD, Commandy, OMAC type stuff. Legion of Superheroes, Superboy, and Adventure of the Superman. They're both fighting this weird thing that I don't know. Like, I read Who's Who back in like 85 after Crisis. I don't know what this Durval is. I don't know what these knights on 101 Dalmatians are, but I imagine that some people have nostalgia for this and those people will like it. So seriously, Convergence, I would very strongly caution against getting all of them. I would very strongly caution against getting none of them. If you are a DC fan, there has to be a reason you're a DC fan. There has to be a character and an era that you love, and you'll find it in one of these books. And I'll help you weed through it each week, because that's what I do. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.